Education, the shortest distance between wealth and poverty. Essential understanding of our economy and how it works is painfully absent in our education system today. According to the National Center on Statistics, a few years ago, only 16.6% of a large sample of high schools even offered a course that dealt specifically with economics, finance, or business management, and less than 1% of the students in these schools were enrolled in such courses. Is it any wonder, then, that so few Americans ever become self-sufficient? No one teaches them how. What I'd like to do now is to introduce you to a new breed of educator. What I'm referring to is the wave of adult education that is sweeping the landscape. It is led by doers who are on the cutting edge of expanding knowledge. They are sharing practical ideas for a changing world. The seminar format is the modern vehicle for adult learning. A few days at most are all that is required. The working adult can arrange a short leave without disrupting his life much. Surely not as much as taking night school over a long period of time or a whole semester of classwork. The adult coming to a seminar is generally thirsty to learn, more concerned with obtaining specific answers to specific problems than with diplomas. Adults who don't understand the value of education are skeptical about educational sources that aren't respectable enough to have huge campuses and recognized diplomas. However, when it comes to gaining knowledge about wealth, the only diploma that counts is the one that increases your net worth. Let's explore 3 principles of education that will guide you in your search for knowledge and by which you will be able to judge what you learn. Principle number 1. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. That statement is attributed to Derek Bok, former president of Harvard University, but I'm tempted to alter it slightly to make it more relevant to the goals of learning to create wealth. If you think the right kind of education is expensive, try ignorance. Some education is too expensive. In my opinion, much of what is taught at universities today is enormously expensive, not only in money, but in time. And the kind of education that takes a long time to make you ill-prepared to deal with the harsh realities of life is almost worse than ignorance. Now, you may draw from this that I'm opposed to formal education. Not so. But if you choose to be formally educated, please understand the strengths and weaknesses of the system. In many ways, the seminar approach to adult education is much more efficient. Although seminars take much less time, they can be expensive. But the best seminars teach more in 2 days about the real nitty-gritty of building wealth than most people learn in a decade of university training. Going to the experts is expensive, very expensive, but it is infinitely cheaper than experience. My trip to the experts cost me perhaps $5,000 over a 2-year period. I learned how to avoid the mistakes for which they had paid dearly. As a result, I have reaped a harvest of several $1 million. Even today, after reaching the top of my field, I still attend 3 to 4 seminars and conferences each year. Now the money is no object. It is the time that I have difficulty investing, but I still find that I cannot afford to stay away. At a seminar, the student can engage in a 2-way transfer of information, not only with the instructor, but also with fellow students. He can hear the testimonies of those who have used the new information. He can ask questions and diffuse his insecurities. He can establish channels of friendships, people to call in case of emergency. How do you find the best seminars? The best way is through word of mouth. Talk to others who attended various seminars. Ask them what each seminar did for them. If you ask several people and get the same negative response about a particular seminar, you know that there are others that offer a better way. Don't forget, the right kind of education is expensive, but it is the shortest distance between poverty and wealth. Principle number 2, learn from the experts, but don't pray to them. Hero worship is one of the many signs of poverty-mindedness. The best teacher is not a camp maker, but a camp breaker. He doesn't want or need disciples to be huddled around the warm campfires of his specialized knowledge. He would rather motivate those he teaches to break camp and to move on up the mountains that we all have been put here to climb. If he's done his job well, he'll soon be unemployed. You don't need him anymore, and that suits him just fine, since he is also a student. In fact, nothing would please him more than for you to become your own expert so he can learn from you. Principle number 3, become your own expert. Ultimately, when it comes to creating wealth, you have to become your own expert. You can draw upon the collective wisdom of other experts, but you will still be responsible for incorporating the information into your own investment framework. How do you become an expert? Well, I can only suggest what has worked for me. Write a book about it. I urge you to pick a subject that you feel will be vital to your ultimate financial success. Study everything that has been written on the subject. Attend whatever seminars you need to attend. Pick the brains of whatever experts you can find who will talk with you. Then sit down, organize your thoughts into 20 chapters, and start to write. Why go to such effort? First of all, it will discipline your thinking. Trying to write it all down will help you identify the weak spots in your knowledge. As you write, you will learn enormously. Your subconscious mind will help you notice in even the most mundane details lessons that will eventually pay off for you. Postscript. My final words. You can take it with you. Those who don't understand wealth are fond of saying, you can't take it with you. But I disagree. Just the opposite is true. You can take it with you. In fact, that is the message of this entire program. It is only the poverty-minded who tend to think that wealth resides solely in material things. Those who look upon wealth as thoughts and attitudes will not be disappointed in death, for they will be able to carry their wealth with them. My hope is that in creating the kind of wealth you can't take with you, you also create a generous portion of the kind of wealth you can take with you. Good luck and Godspeed.